Hello everyone, this is Justin with Handheld Headquarters. It's Monday, June 30th, 2025, and this is your daily bite of handheld gaming news. So before we get started, I just want to talk about Friday. I was supposed to get a video out. It's the first time I've ever missed it, but I had some technical problems with my computer. Whole thing's busted, lost the file. All is not lost though, because I still have the stories. So I've got a few of those mixed in today, including our community spotlight, and there's some emulation stories about PS2 and...
A few moments later.
Sorry about that, but we're going to recover from this. I hope your Friday was okay. Why don't we get started with today's news though? First thing we're going to talk about is GammaOS. So the Gamma Squeeze releases de-bloated versions of Android like Lineage OS for various handhelds that struggle with their software side but have good hardware. One example is my RG405M that I have. That thing saved it. So I say this because he's done it again. The Gamma Squeeze has released GammaOS for the KT-R1. If you're not familiar with the KT-R1, it came out like in 2023. It was a pretty big deal. Everybody was excited about it. It has a Helio G99 processor, Wi-Fi. The cool thing about it is you can configure it to be either D-pad on top, D-pad on bottom. It had 3 RAM configurations. I believe it was like a 4, 6, and 8, respectively, with 64, 128, or 256 gigs of storage. It came in 3 different shell materials, so you could have a plastic, a magnesium, or aluminum. Like, I heard the buttons didn't work so well. I've never tried it myself, but the software was pretty lacking. And now that GammaOS is out for it, you could probably dig it out of your drawer, give some new life to it. The main issue was that you got the great hardware, but it was pretty lackluster on the software. Now, GammaOS is here to fix that. So it's based on Lineage OS 19.1, which is Android 12. There's a green tint issue with the screen it fixes and an issue with the refresh rate. So it keeps a good 60 hertz refresh rate now. And yeah, so if you have a KT-R1, go ahead and pull it up. I've got a link to the GitHub for GammaOS down below. Pull it up, install it. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if it's worth it. Our next story could be Odin 3 rumors, but probably not. So I'm sure everybody watching this knows about the Odin 2. It's the top dog in Android emulation. It's not the most powerful thing out there, but price per performance, it is. And when I say it's not the most powerful thing, there's more powerful stuff, but they're not going to run anything that this device won't. So Odin 2 is kind of the end all at the moment. That being said, the base model Odin 2, which is very popular, has disappeared from stock. It's just showing as out of stock. This hasn't happened since December 2023 when it was first released. So Andrew over at retrohandholds.gg wrote an article, popped up yesterday, saying that they were setting up for their weekly news article when he noticed it was out of stock. And this is really weird. It's not typical for Ein. It's not typical for them to have a out of stock on the Odin 2. Gets people to speculating. So it's proposed in that article that maybe they're trying to prep up for an Odin 3. Now, nothing's been said. There's no news floating in the ether about an Odin 3. This is the first time it's come up. But if there was an Odin 3, how cool would it be? You get the Odin 2 form factor. Everybody loves the Odin 2 form factor. A lot of people prefer it over the Portal, so they stick with their Odin 2 despite the Portal's superior screen. Everything else is the same. Imagine that with a Snapdragon G3 Gen 3. That's the newest thing. Sounds pretty cool. However, I wouldn't put too much stock on this rumor because, well, this is all opinion right here, but what's the point? What's the point in upgrading something that sells super well? It's ahead of any software right now. There's nothing the Odin 2 cannot run that anything else can run. So you're getting everything you want. And if you want the OLED, you can bump up to the Portal. If you want mini LED, like it's screen options. That's it. I don't know. In my opinion, it's not. I just don't see it. I don't see the Odin 3 coming out, being announced yet, unless there's some crazy thing that we're not even thinking about. It's fun to speculate. I mean, we're all tapped into the scene so much that any change in news gets everybody excited, everybody thinking about what's coming next. It's a very exciting hobby, and I get that. But we also get a little too excited sometimes. And it's just that this situation is a perfect example of our hobby and our excitement. And the Odin 2 is it's a great device. Just imagine a better device by Odin. Tried and true. We love it. Let's move on. This one is not quite handheld related. It's adjacent, but I mean, if you got a Windows handheld, this applies to you. Or if you're using a Windows computer, you're watching me right now on your Windows computer, this applies to you. Microsoft has announced that their next big update to Windows 11, what is it called? 24H2. It's coming later this summer, and with that, the iconic blue screen of death, or BSOD, it's going away. It's going away. It's gone. They're going to replace it with the black screen of death. Even worse, right? This is in response to the initiative. What was it called? It was called the Windows Reliancy Initiative. If you remember, what was that last year? The CrowdStrike thing happened? I remember. Got a day off work from it. But I guess that sparked this initiative with Windows to be more transparent about the errors that are happening and the things that they're doing to fix them. One of the things that they're doing is changing the blue screen of death. It was always pretty hard to interpret what was going on in that thing. And this new black screen of death, let's see, it's going to clearly list the specific stop code and the faulty system driver right on the display, which should make troubleshooting much faster. If you've ever tried to troubleshoot a blue screen of death, you probably have seen one of them blue screen viewer apps or programs where you have to enter the code and do the research. It's a mess. So I mean, I can see a benefit of this. I'm sad that it's not blue anymore, to be honest with you. It's kind of nostalgic, and we all love nostalgia here, right? Anyways, if you have a memorable blue screen story, why don't you tell me in the comments below? Let's talk about it. Now, like I said, I talked about the Steam Summer Sale last Friday, and I didn't get to publish that, so we're going to talk about the Steam Summer Sale. Many people know about Steam's big sales. A lot of people wait to buy their games until Steam has their sales, and for good reason. The discounts are always really, really crazy. You could say one of the reasons that handheld PCs are so big is because you can actually get good deals on games as opposed to the Nintendo tax, if you know what I'm talking about. So again, there's a sale going on. It's the Summer Steam Sale. It's going on until July 10th. You got some time to check it out. There's some big deals. Notably, RoboCop Rogue City, that's currently 90% off. Lies of P is 50% off. I know there's a heavy discount on Final Fantasy Rebirth, so now's your chance to play that game. If you don't know what to do, I don't recommend just jumping on Steam and looking at the list of games. I think you should check out this website. It's called steamdb.info. What's neat about this website is they list all the games on sale, and they list them by historical low. So you could check a list and make sure you're getting the best deal possible for a game you want. So if you're checking that out, if you're going to the Steam sale, why don't you let me know what kind of deals you got? Let us all know in the comments if there's anything really killer that you see. Maybe there's some hidden gems on sale or some indies. Let us know, and let's talk about it. This next bit is another story I talked about Friday, and I'm going to bring it up to you now so you don't miss a thing. If you're familiar with Nether SX2, or better yet, if you're familiar with Aether SX2, it was the PlayStation 2 emulator that was released on Android. There was a whole drama behind it. The developer quit working on it and then pushed out an update that added ads. It was a mess. Then there was a group of community members who made the patch known as the Nether SX2 patch. And that took out the ads and consolidated features and brought life to an app that just was dead. And it was the only option we really have for PS2 emulation, especially on Android. So now there's even bigger news because the developer Trixarian behind Nether SX2 has started working on what's called Ethereal Sx2. And they're finally working on a ground-up emulator for PS2. Not a patch, not working off some other closed source. This is going to be a fully open source app. Now, don't get too excited. Don't go running over to GitHub right now because it's still very early stages. This is merely an announcement, but I think the future's looking good for PS2 emulation on Android, and we're going to keep our finger on the pulse with this one, and I'll let you know if any updates come. In a previous episode, we talked about GPD's MicroPC2 and when they announced it and showed off the pictures of it. Well, now we have footage of it because ETA Prime got his hands on one and gave us a video. So some key specs about this device is it's a Intel N20 Alder Lake, 16 gigabytes of RAM, that's LPDDR5, with a 6-inch 1080p display. Now, this device is not really geared towards gamers specifically. It's more of a tech product for professionals. I've said that before. It's really cool. It seems like something you could take on the field and just have it, and it's like out of the way, but it's really powerful. ETA Prime is focused on gaming, so he checks out the gaming performance, and it really stacks up. He shows it running PS2, GameCube, PSP, and they all function exceptionally well on a low power chip. So if you're looking to get one of these 6-inch laptops without controllers to play AAA games, Cyberpunk, you're gonna want to drop it down to like 720. But I don't think anybody wants to do that. I don't think you should do that because the price is not there for what you're getting if that's what your goal is. This is designed for the IT pro. The cool thing about it is that it has the capability of handling the gaming side of it too. So it's kind of an all there professional and at home device. I guess we could consider it a tool that can game as opposed to a game that can tool. You know what I'm saying? So this is really cool device. If you're interested in it, check out the video. I threw the link below. Tell me what you think. I think it's neat. I'm not an IT professional, so I don't see how I would need to use this, but I bet many of you are. So check it out. Okay, let's talk about that community spotlight I was bringing up. I mentioned this on Friday, lost the video. I'm going to show you now. So there's a user on Reddit, user by the name of local_bug_4703, localbug4703. They posted almost an article. Basically, they had to get a screen replacement for their Odin 2 portal and describe the process on their Reddit posts, showing pictures. If you've ever done a screen replacement, and I've done a few myself, it's kind of a tense time, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. So it's really cool to see this. I haven't seen an Odin 2 portal screen replacement, although I imagine it's similar to the Retroid Pocket Mini I did, because it's all a glass front. So they probably sent them the screen attached to the glass panel. So the interesting part about this, and the reason I want to highlight this, is that local bug 4703 showed that they swapped the thermal pads that were on there for some thermal paste. And I think that's a really good practice, and more of us should look into that, because when you take something apart and you pull the thermal pad off of a chip or a CPU, there's a chance that thing's going to degrade, get dirt on it, or any other thing, and it's not going to perform as well when you close it back up. It's good practice to check it, examine it, and if need be, have some paste to reapply. This, however, though, was above and beyond, because they went with some pretty fancy stuff and managed to get, managed to get a 2 to 3 degrees Celsius drop in thermals with their device after this. So kudos to you. That's really cool. And if you're interested, check out the link below. They also have another post that was brought up to me about running the Portal 2 for streaming. So I'll link that to you too as well. So just check out below. Kudos to you, local bug 4703. And yeah, that's awesome. So for today's On the Radar, I thought I'd bring up something Game Boy related. I don't know if you've heard of GBStudio, but if you've ever wanted to make a game that you've played on your Game Boy, thought I can do this, but if you're like me and you barely know anything about programming and it kind of, GBStudio's there. Check it out. It's free on itch.io, and it's actually a graphical user interface for programming a Game Boy game. As a matter of fact, if you've played any modern new Game Boy games that have come out in the past few years, there's a solid chance that you've played a GBStudio game. Dedius comes to mind, Pine Creek, I think The Machine. GBStudio is really fun. It's empowered a whole generation of new indie creators, and it keeps Game Boy alive. This hardware from 1989 in 2025 is still getting new games, and that is the coolest thing ever. So check it out if you're interested. If you want to flex those creative muscles, this absolutely needs to be on your radar. Anyways, that's it for today. Again, I'm Justin with Handheld Headquarters. I hope you found today's news informative. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get informed whenever I upload a new video. And leave a comment. I'd love to have a discussion about what was said today. That being said, I will see you tomorrow for the next Daily Bite. See ya.